My name is Christine, and we are orthopedic residents at Balanced Physical Therapy. Being an orthopedic resident means that we've been doing this for about a year, and we are learning about everything orthopedic. So that means your joints, muscles, all of that. And physical therapists are able to do an evaluation, first day evaluation, to see any of your impairments, and then we'll do an individualized plan of care towards that and make you stronger, healthier, and have a better quality of life. And now, Steph will discuss strength changes as you age.
Alrighty, so I first want to speak about physiologic changes that our bodies go through as we age. I'm sure we have all considered that we aren't as strong as we were when we were 18 years old or in your young 20s. This is partially attributed to what is called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is defined as the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. This is characterized by low muscle strength, low muscle quality or quantity, and low physical performance. So if someone has all three of those things, then your sarcopenia would be considered severe. This process usually begins around age 40, and we have seen an estimated 8% loss of muscle mass and strength per decade and until we reach about 70 years old. And then at 70, that muscle loss, that percent changes to about 15%. So we start to lose muscle mass and muscle strength at a faster rate once we get to age 70. This muscle loss is typically what we call type 2 muscle fibers, and those muscle fibers are fast twitch, and they're responsible for faster, stronger forces that we make throughout the day, like standing up quickly or going up a stair or lifting something up. And type 1 is more of your postural muscles, so things that have to have longer endurance to get you through the day. So the prevalence of sarcopenia is about 10 to 27% worldwide, and the incidence is usually higher in women. Sarcopenia is prevalent in older adults who have also been recently hospitalized. Doctors are able to diagnose sarcopenia from imaging, and they see a reduction in muscle mass or strength or like decreased circumference, and they would also see non-contractile tissue infiltrating the contractile tissue in an image, like an MRI or something like that. Perfect. All right. So next I want to talk about how this occurs. So the muscular system is controlled by junctions from your brain to the nerves down to your muscles, and then that signal is sent back from the muscles up towards your brain in that same pathway. These neurons tell the muscles how to move and how much to move. As we age, we start to lose neurons, which is an irreversible process, and the motor unit, or the nerve to that muscle, becomes bigger and a little less specific. So the speed of the nerves also slows down. Some of you may have had like EMGs or things like that to see how your nerves are conducting. And so there's a reduction in the strength and in the speed. These neural changes can be evident in muscular changes and in balance changes, which is what Christine is going to talk about here in just a few minutes. Evidence also supports that muscle mass and bone mineral density are correlated, and there are several common factors between those two conditions. What this means is that the incidence of osteoporosis or osteopenia can be greatly correlated with the incidence of sarcopenia, because oftentimes it occurs, like I said, more so in women and in those who aren't as physically active, and then there are other health conditions that can also contribute to that as well. There are several personal and environmental factors that contribute to both osteopenia and osteoporosis and sarcopenia. So decreased physical activity, like I said, contributes because it alters your body composition. We have all probably heard about the importance of movement and exercise for your cardiovascular health, for your strength, and then for your quality of life and maintaining your independence. I'm sure it has occurred to everyone that it might be a little more difficult to get up from a softer couch or a low chair, or even from getting off the toilet, things like that. And I want to talk about why that is the case. So power, or muscle power, is the amount of strength that we can produce in a short amount of time. So, in other words, we are doing a strength movement at a fast pace, and that is what power is considered. It's greatly important when it comes to getting up from a chair, or the couch, or the toilet, or even going up a curb, or up a step, anything there, because the longer that we spend transitioning during those movements, the more likely we are to fall, since there's more time spent in that transitionary period. So power affects function more than strength tends to. We need to have a good amount of strength to perform different activities, but if we do not have the speed with which to effectively move, we could potentially create an unsafe environment. Sarcopenia increases the risk of functional loss and disability with increased hospital admission, falls, fractures, gait disorders, and unfortunately even mortality. This increase in functional loss is 3 times more in women and 2 times more in men with sarcopenia compared to those without. Evidence shows that quadriceps sarcopenia, or the muscles that are here on the front of your legs, is really related to your fall risk. So what that means is those muscles, your quadriceps, are responsible for extending your legs and for flexing your hip. So they're really important when we get up from chairs, when we step up on a curb, or when we're walking. And if these muscles aren't really strong, we're going to have a lot harder time maneuvering all of those obstacles during your day-to-day living, because your quads might buckle, which could create a fall risk. So if those with sarcopenia are 3 times more likely to fall in a 2-year follow-up period compared to those who don't have sarcopenia. So it's really important to keep that muscle strength and power up. So as sarcopenia, especially of the quadriceps, continues to develop, we are more and more likely to be a fall risk. Another assessment that we use in our physical therapy practice is your grip strength. So you may have noticed that it's sometimes harder to pick something up that's heavy. You feel like you might drop something or anything like that. So we use grip strength and quad strength to measure your functional status. And in our field, we create treatment plans to improve the strength, the power, and the function. So before we get into some of our strength testing today, I just want to explain some of the ways that we can address sarcopenia in order to plateau the effects of aging. We are unable to reverse those effects, but we can do as much as possible to limit the progression to maintain independence and quality of life. Evidence explains that some of the most effective ways to address sarcopenia and osteoporosis are strength training and endurance training. We need both to get the maximum benefits. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to the gym and lift really heavy weights like you might have done when you were younger, but perform exercises throughout the day, like if you're going to get up from a chair, maybe perform 10 repetitions of that, and things to add throughout your day, like taking the stairs if you're able, and then you can start to add some resistance. And that's what we do with physical therapy, is we give you an individualized treatment plan to be able to do that. So this next part is going to be a little bit of some strength testing. So do I have a volunteer to do a strength test for me? Anybody? Yeah? All right, perfect. So there are several variations of what we call a sit-to-stand test. We can change the repetitions. We can change the amount of time. So what this is actually going to be is called a 30-second sit-to-stand test. So I'll have you come right over here just so that it's safe against the fireplace here. All right. So this would be part of what we would do in an evaluation in the PT office. So I'll have you go ahead and sit towards the front of your chair here. Let me get this gait belt on you real quick. Can you hold that? Sorry. Can everyone hear me if I don't use the microphone? Okay, perfect. I'm gonna put this around you just in case, okay? All right, go ahead and lift your arms up for me real quick. I'm just gonna get this around you. How's your day going? All right. So what I'll have you do is I'll have you bring your feet back just a little bit, about shoulder width apart. Perfect. And then I'll actually have you cross your arms over your chest. Perfect. And then for 30 seconds, I'm going to see how many times you can go from sitting to standing. Okay? All right. When you're ready, go ahead. And then all the way up for me.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Almost there.
8, 9, 10, 11.
And go ahead and rest for me. Very nice. All right. 11?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have what are called normative values. So we go based on everyone's age, and we see what standard repetition numbers are per people's age to see where you should be falling in this type of test. So between the ages of 70 to 90, that is a great range, and we would be more specific, but just for today's sake, anywhere between 8 and 17 repetitions is considered normal between the ages of 70 and 90, which is exactly where you fell. All right, so then we can do a couple of other tests to see the strength on the right leg versus the left leg, okay? So what this entails now is bringing your right leg a little bit closer towards your body and your left leg a little bit further away. So now I'm gonna have you try to stand up like that, and then we'll test the other side, okay? Here, I'll give you that. We don't have to do it lots of times, just once. All right, and then go ahead and cross your arms for me.
Crossing?
Yep, and see if you can, and then it's a little harder that way, isn't it? And then go ahead and switch legs for me. There you go, try that. All right. Perfect, thank you. All right, so we use that right-sided versus left-sided bias in order to see if your right leg or your left leg is a little bit stronger, and then things that we could work at in physical therapy if we do notice a big strength change one versus the other side. So we do need to have that bias because when you step up a curb, all of your body weight is going on one leg, and it's really important that you're able to use the power in the legs to get up the curb without compensation. And if you do have an assistive device like a cane or a walker, then we are also able to adjust using those devices. All right. The last strength test we have today is for your hands. Okay. So I'm going to have your elbow down at your side, and this isn't going to move, but you're just going to squeeze it as hard as you can, and then we'll test the other side, okay? So go ahead. And then squeeze it as hard as you can. Oh, here, 1 second. I don't know why it didn't take it. Go ahead. Perfect. And then we'll switch sides. There you go. Perfect, thank you. And are you right-handed or left-handed? You're left-handed? Okay. 41, okay. So you're actually very symmetrical according to that test. So again, for different age cutoffs, we have different normative values for the grip strength. Anywhere between 30 and 35 pounds for women between 70 to 90 years old, and then anywhere between 45 and 55 pounds for men 70 to 90 years old. So it just really depends on your age and your functional status, but using tools like this, the hand dynamometer and sit to stand testing, we're able to see what kind of impairments you might have and treat them in physical therapy. And so now I'm going to hand the mic over to Christine, and she's going to talk about balance. And then you can go ahead, and you are done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, give her a hand, everyone. So, what is balance? Balance is a dynamic process that refers to a person's ability to maintain their center of mass over their base of support. It has 3 inputs, 1 being vision, 2 being vestibular, 3 being somatosensory. These are 3 different systems that we all use to help our balance. So, vision, our eyes provide feedback to other systems about where you are in relation to the world and what is happening in the environment. It is technically outside of our scope as physical therapists, but it's still important to get your eyes checked yearly. The vestibular system is part of your inner ear. How many of you guys have had vertigo? Yeah? That is part of our vestibular system, and that's a complex system that helps a variety of movements and protects our brain, or provides our brain with information about spatial orientation and equilibrium. The somatosensory system is special senses in our skin, muscles, and joints that help respond to stretch and pressure, which help give us a perception of pain, temperature, touch, and proprioception, which means where our body is in space. Our brain uses these 3 systems to help maintain balance in various environments. If one of these systems is impaired or disrupted, you will rely heavily on another system. For example, if you're walking in the dark, you cannot use your vision as well, so you rely more on your feet, sensation, touch, and your vestibular system to know where you are and to navigate through the dark. So standing balance is one's ability to remain upright and steady. Steadiness is the ability, like I said, to maintain your center of mass over your base of support. The base of support is the area of contact that your feet make with the ground or whatever surface you may be on. Only when the center of mass is directly above the base of support can the person balance at rest. When balance is challenged with the slip, fall, nudge, the risk of falling can greatly increase. Fortunately, the body has 4 natural defenses to fight against falls, which are called balance reactions or balance strategies. And they differ depending on the degree to which balance is being tested. Ankles are your first line of defense. And as the requirement for balance gets bigger, your hips get involved and so forth down the chain. So, ankle strategy is for smaller balance challenges. This strategy is made up of coordinated contractions of muscles around the ankle to oppose center of mass deviations. For example, if your body sways backwards, like Stephenie's doing right now, to maintain her balance, those muscles around your ankles need to contract. So you can see that she's contracting her, contracting her ankle muscles to pull her back upright and forward to maintain her center of mass over her base of support. Whereas for hip strategy, those are more for medium balance challenges and is the body's next line of defense against falls. While muscle contractions are imperative to hip strategies, these strategies are better characterized by examining the movements of the hips and arms. For example, if I use Steph again, a loss of balance going backwards is going to result in the hips going quickly forward to pull her upright, or extending and creating a back bending movement. Also, like in the picture, how the hips and head go in the opposite direction in order to maintain upright position. Now, stepping strategy is for larger balance challenges, and this strategy is the body's best line of defense against falls. As the name indicates, a stepping strategy occurs when you take a step or 2 to maintain your balance. Good. It is an attempt to reestablish a new base of support with the active limb when the center of gravity has exceeded the original base of support. Last but not least is the reaching or grabbing strategy. This last line of defense against falls is defined by reaching out and trying to grab anything nearby to keep from falling down. It is typically only used when all the other strategies are ineffective. As physical therapists, we often see patients who are ineffective with properly executing these strategies. They may lack the coordination and, like Stephanie talked about, the trunk strength to not fall. We also see patients using the reaching, grabbing strategies too frequently and not giving their ankles or hips a time to really contract and not fall. By helping people regain the effective use of these strategies, we can see a big improvement in overall balance. Now, we'll test your balance. Do I have a volunteer to see a few balance assessments? Does anyone want to volunteer?
I can do it if I need to.
No? You sure?
Always. We won't let you get to the floor.
I'm going to put this.
Yeah.
Just so that you know, I'm scheduled for knee surgery.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
It's not good.
Okay, I'm going to put this around you. Give you a little hug. Okay. So, not yet. So what we're going to do first, I just want you to put your feet, so we could face them. I want you to put your feet together, stand up nice and tall, look straight ahead, and just try to do this for a full minute. How does this feel?
Good.
So this first position, is the eyes open on a firm, hard surface.
Even scanning.
Good. You look pretty steady.
I can feel myself wobbling back and forth and correcting.
So this uses all three systems, your vision, vestibular, and somatosensory. How are we doing on time?
30 seconds.
Good. Which knee is it?
I can't get my feet closer together. My knees are too big.
That's okay. No problem. Do you have any dizziness or anything like that I should know about?
Not really.
No? Okay.
I mean, I've had the crystals in the ear business before, so,
Mm-hmm.
and I know how to fix it if I have it again.
How long ago was that?
Probably about 2 years ago.
Okay, good. That was a full minute. Now, what I want you to try to do is just like your feet, so keep your feet as they are, but I want you to close your eyes. And we'll try that for a full minute. How are we doing?
I wobble.
So far, so good. Now, obviously, this position is now without your vision, because balance is an everyday thing, and even at night, you still need your balance. But it's going to be dark. Like when you're walking to the restroom at night, you have to rely more on your somatosensory and your vestibular systems.
20 seconds. 20 seconds left.
Perfect. How do your ankles feel?
They're checking in.
Your ankle strategies are working.
So it's actually the toes and the bottom of the feet.
Exactly. Good. Rest, and then you can open your eyes. Now what we're going to do is do those two positions again, but now we'll add the foam pad. So I want both your feet together if you can. You could hold on to me if you need. Good. And just try to stand up nice and tall, keeping your eyes open. Good. How does the pad feel? This is a little bit more compliant surface.
Yeah, it's much more wobbly, but and I can feel the ankles, the bottoms of my feet working, even the hips.
By taking out the firm surface and adding a more compliant surface, which is a little bit more giving, your body is forced to have a little bit more deviations and use your strategies more, such as your somatosensory, and touch. Perfect. Have you had any falls in the past year?
Probably a year and a half ago, yes. But that was due to heart problems.
Okay.
In other words, I passed out.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, good. Rest. Do you need to take a seat or anything to rest?
Oh, no.
Okay. Last but not least,
Eyes
we're
closed.
eyes closed. Yep.
Harder.
Mm-hmm.
Much harder.
Now, this is obviously the most difficult position for most people because it takes out your vision, takes out your vestibular system, or takes out your somatosensory. How are you feeling?
Wobbly.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is I can feel your hand on my back, which
You're good. Got 18 more seconds, if you can. Almost there. Good. Rest. Open your eyes.
it's even backwards and forwards. I think. One foot down harder than the other.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, we'll take a step off. Nice.
Oh, it's nice and safe.
That's what I was about to say. Hold on. We still got a few more. Unless does anyone else want to volunteer?
Yeah, somebody else come up here.
She's tired. She just did a lot.
Okay, I'll continue if nobody else will do it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. So we'll just do it for 30 seconds. Next one we're going to try, just standing right there and try to hold. So I want you to stand up nice and tall. Try to lift up one leg and try to hold that for 30 seconds. How does this feel?
Not good.
This is testing your single limb stance. Okay, let's try the other leg.
Okay, this is the knee that's got to be.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You can hold on to me if you need.
Now,
You're good.
see this one just won't hold me up yet.
That's A-okay. You did your best. That was great. But 30 seconds is usually a good goal to have for each foot, just standing up nice and tall and trying to lift up one leg. You could do this at home in your room, holding on to a countertop if you need, or with a sink. I prefer sinks because you have that little lip to hold on to. Feel okay?
Yeah.
Now, to test your vestibular system, I want you to put your hands out in front of you, march, and then try to close your eyes, and I'll tell you when to stop. Good. Keep going. Keep going. Good. Rest. Open your eyes. So what we call a positive test of that, which would mean a vestibular deficit on one side or the other, would be a person closes their eyes, marches, and they have a greater than 45-degree difference of where they are. So they'll be marching here and then open their eyes because their vestibular system is dysfunctional on that side that they turn towards. So it's a good assessment to do, but make sure you do it in a safe environment with someone preferably around you.
They actually had me close my eyes and walk backwards.
Wow. Ooh, that sounds tough.
Which was really tough.
Yeah. Who had you do that?
This was at physical therapy.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, and I was just wobbly all over the place.
Yeah, no, I bet. Last but not least, we're going to do what we call a timed up and go test. So I want you to sit right here. And I'm going to guesstimate 10 feet. 10 feet. I'd say like right here, right?
Yeah.
Approximately. But what this test is going to do is I want you to stand up, walk to about right here, turn around, and then come sit back down in a comfortable pace for you. And we're going to time it. Stephanie's going to time it for you, okay?
Okay, you gonna tell me when to go, or
I'll tell you when to go.
I'll go based on when you start.
Yeah. So whenever you're ready, she'll start the timer. Good.
9 seconds.
9 seconds. So the cutoff for a greater than 14.5 seconds is an increased risk of falling. So you did it in 9 seconds, which is great. That's awesome. Great job. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
No, it feels like I've had a couple of glasses of wine.
Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay. And I'm just going to last line. All right. So thank you guys for taking the time to come up here and hang out with us. If you guys feel like any of this pertains to you and your daily life, feel free to talk to me and Steph. And now we'll have after, so we could see you in physical therapy, and all you need is a doctor's referral, okay? Now, does anyone have any questions for us currently? Yes.
Behind one of your names, your name, there was an ATC or something like that.
Yes.
What does that signify?
ATC means athletic trainer certified. So the people that like run on the field when an athlete gets hurt, I'm one of those people.
Okay, so it's athletics.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone else have any questions? Yeah.
Without going to physical therapy on a daily basis, what's a good exercise just to get the quads strengthened?
So yeah, some of those like sit to stand tests, like what we did earlier, those would be good ones. If you have a stair that's safe and available to you, you could step up and down on a stair. There's a lot of different options, those exactly. And you said you're having a knee surgery, right? And I'm assuming would be going to physical therapy afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and your PT will be able to give you a whole list of things that are very specific to you in your daily tasks so that it's very individualized.
No, I just thought for general, for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I'm asking is, I do a yoga
Yeah?
class, which is mainly for stretching and moving joints. But we do like the chair pose, which works on the quads. But I was wondering if there was anything else standing. I mean, we do a lot of those,
Yeah.
tree pose and things like that.
Yeah, so like I said, the sit to stands are really good ones, the stairs,
Or like heel taps over
or
there.
yeah, what we would call like a heel tap using a stair as well, and that's something that I think you'll be doing in PT as well. But the biggest thing is going from that sitting to standing position quickly but safely, okay?
Yeah. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Yes.
Maybe you could explain some of the differences of you guys kind of ran through the testing what you do, but like if somebody were to come in with physical therapy, of the difference of the exercises you prescribe at home versus the stuff that you do in clinic.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more pushing them up, not as quite as safe to do on their own at home versus when they're working with you.
Yeah, so usually I send patients home with stuff that I feel they're very comfortable with, that I would be comfortable with them doing at home. So if they are a more balanced risk, it's usually more stuff in front of a sink, like I said, or stretches on a bed, floor, anything like that. And then when they come into physical therapy, it gets a little bit more progressive. I'm right there next to the patients, and we make it more functional and more difficult, but it's in a safe, controlled environment. Anything you want to add?
Oh no, I think that's it. Does anyone else have any other questions? No, well, thank you guys so much for having us today.
you.
It was an absolute pleasure. And then we'll be here for a little while if you have any other specific questions that you want to bring to us, okay? And then there's a few refreshments in the back. There's some veggies and things like that, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.